Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Miss Elaine's Read Along. I'm Miss Elaine, and I am here with Engineer Evan, and we are so delighted to bring you yet another book this Saturday morning. And I am so excited because it is the end of August, and guess what the temperature is here in Chicagoland? It is going to be almost 80 degrees today. Wow, 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 wow. After having snow flurries earlier this week, we welcome the warm weather. We are certainly going to take advantage of that today. Well, we want to know who is joining us for Missy Lane's Read Along. If you are joining us for the very first time, we want to say welcome to you. Thank you for taking the time to read along with us. Missy Lane and Engineer Evan are so happy that you are here. Today's book is Meet the Dullards. Oh my, this family is so dull. They enjoy watching paint dry. Wow, have you ever met a family like that? Well, I hope not. But this family is kind of cute. And so I've picked this book to share with you today. It is written by Sara Pennypacker and written by Daniel Salmieri. I want to get that right. All right. So this book is really, really cute. And I hope that you will enjoy it as well. Do you ever have any kids or students that walk around and say, oh my goodness, I am so bored. I'm so bored. And they think that it is your destiny to make sure that they are bored all the time, that they have nothing to do. Well, of course, we as parents and as educators, that is not our goal in life, not at all. But I want you to notice how the family is dressed. They're all grayed out, and I tried to be as dull as possible. I have on my all black. Oh, I'm dull. But we know that we love a little color in our lives, and we hope that the family, our Dullards, will find some color, not only in paints and everything, but also in excitement. We hope that they find that in their lives as well. Good morning, Miss Shanika. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know that you don't live a dull life at all. You have a lot of activities going on today. And so we are grateful that you have decided to take a peek into our program out of your busy schedule. We appreciate you. All right, you all, let's go ahead and get started. This is Meet the Dullards. One day, Mr. and Mrs. Dullard received quite a nasty surprise. What was the surprise? They walked in on their children reading. Oh, the travesty. They were reading books, and guess what? They were enjoying them. The nicest way to be a friend. Oh. The Dullards collected the books and handed their children some nice blank paper to read instead. How dull. Then they left the room to discuss the problem in private. This was not the first time their children had given them a shock. Last week, they had asked to go to school. And just the day before, Mr. Dullard had caught them trying to play outside. Wow. They don't want these children doing anything. Mrs. Dullard shook her head sadly. Where did we go wrong? Now, Mr. Dullard comforted his wife. It can't be our fault. We are perfectly dull. Perhaps it's this place, he said. Last fall, remember, some leaves turned color. And now this. He pointed to an upsetting commotion in the driveway. There's never a dull moment. There was a snail in the driveway. You all see this snail? You may be right. It's like a circus around here, Mrs. Dullard agreed. This is no place to raise Blonda, Borley, and Little Dud. They're adamant on keeping their children duds. So the Dullards packed up their 3 dull children and all of their dull things and moved. Just as, their, just as they brought the last box into their new home, a lady came to the door. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she said. "I baked you an applesauce cake." "Please don't use exclamation marks in front of our children," said Mrs. Dullard. "Smooth or chunky applesauce?" asked Mr. Dullard. "Chunks are so unpredictable, so nerve-wracking." "Oh, I'm sorry," said the neighbor lady. "It was chunky." And so they slammed the door in her face. "Goodbye," said the Dullards, shutting the door. "Well, I never," they heard the neighbor lady muttering as she walked away with her cake. "Well, we never either," said Mr. Dullard. "That's how we keep our family so dull." "You children need to calm down after all that excitement," said Mrs. Dullard. "Go watch TV." They allow them to watch television? Shanika said, "I'm too loud." Too loud for the Dullards, right? "Go watch television," they told them. Do you all see? The television is unplugged and the children are literally watching the TV until they see outside. What do you think the children are going to do? Mr. and Mrs. Dullard finished unpacking all of their dull things. "Ah, this place feels more boring already," said Mr. Dullard. But then, what did they see? They opened a door. Did they buy this place sight unseen? Look at this brightly colored wallpaper. Nearly took Mrs. Dullard out. Oh my, it has beautiful flowers, oh, brightly colored, yellow background, and wooden floors. Oh my. On the way to the paint store, the Dullard spotted an ice cream stand. Mr. Dullard ordered their usual 5 vanilla cones, please. Hold the cones and extract the vanilla. But all that would be left is plain ice cream, the clerk said. "Yes, yes, yes, that is correct," said Mr. Dullard. "Oh, how dull." At the paint store, Mr. Dullard suggested medium gray. There's the medium gray. "Oh, too risky," Mrs. Dullard decided. "Gray is the color of highways, and highways can make the children think about going somewhere. How about beige?" "Out of the question," said her husband. "Beige reminds me of clay, and children might think that, and they may," he put his hand to his heart, "they may want to make something." In the end, they told the clerk to mix the gray paint and the beige paint together, and the new color was indeed perfectly dull, like oatmeal left in the pot. Could you imagine? Now look at the kids in the store. They're picking out ugly colors for the wall, and the kids are juggling paintbrushes, climbing on the stands, and he's petting the dog. They're having a grand old time. while the parents are scheming on how to keep things dull. Now, after they finished painting the room, Mr. and Mrs. Dullard tried not to look at the walls, but it was no use. They were completely mesmerized, and all day long, the Dullards watched the paint dry. Wow. I tell you, you can always find something to do. And as they were mesmerized, the children snuck out the window. They say, forget this. Life is happening out there. We're out of here. And so the parents continue to be their dull selves by themselves. Finally, Mr. Dullard tore his gaze away. Uh, I think, he began. Mrs. Dullard shook her head. No thinking, she reminded her husband. It sets a bad example for the children. And speaking of the children, where are they? Oh, never a dull moment here. Get that earring out of here. The children are gone. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Dullard, what would you expect? Oh, they're outside having a ball. Literally. Now, where did the dog come from? And they're hanging their dull clothes out because they certainly can't have a dryer in the house because that would cause just too much excitement, right? She's juggling. The baby is on the clothing line. See where you have to have excitement inside of the house so the kids don't go outside and hurt themselves. Good morning, Amir. How are you? We're reading the Dullards story about the Dull family. I can't imagine what came over them, Mr. Dullard said as he herded the children back safely inside. Perhaps it's this new home. It's terribly exciting. Well, you may be right. It's like a circus around here, Mrs. Dullard agreed. This is no place to raise Blonda, Borley, and little Dud. So the Dullards packed up their three dull children and all of their dull things. But are their children really dull? This is the dream that they had for their children, but their children had other ideas, right? And they moved back. But what else is going to move to their town? It says circus coming to town tonight. Oh, how exciting. Well, let's see. That night, Mr. and Mrs. Dullard fell asleep right away, secure in the knowledge that their children were perfect bores. Good morning, Melissa and crew. Awell, are you there? Good morning. Oh, wow. Are the children perfect bores? Can you all see them sneaking off to the circus? I guess when you try to box your children in one way, they go the opposite direction. And there they are, using their talents that they learned in the backyard for the circus. The little baby is doing his balancing act. And here is my friend taming the lion. He was practicing with the dog in the backyard. And here's sister juggling. At first, she was juggling with the paintbrushes, and then she moved to balls. Now she's juggling with fire. Wow. Well, sometimes you just can't hide that talent, and the parents unfortunately tried to stifle that. But that is our story for today. That is the Dullards. Meet the Dullards. All right. Thank you, Evan, for switching that camera there. I almost lost my book. All right, all right. It says their home is boring and their food is plain and their lives are monotonous. It's the same thing over and over and over again. The parents like it that way, but the children not so much. Sometimes you got to add a little spice to life. And that's what the children did. Good for them. All right, you guys. In Chicagoland, it's going to be almost 80 degrees today. You all get out there and enjoy the sunshine. I know I will, but not before I enjoy my second breakfast. I am kicking it off with my cup of tea this morning for my throat, and then I will be ready to go. All right. Thank you all for joining us this morning. It is so good to see you. It has been a pleasure to bring you yet another book this Saturday morning. I hope that you will continue reading this week. Let's see. Imani says, I'm going to wear my orange pants that were gifted to you. Well, Imani, I'm sure that those pants were not gifted to you. I'm sure that you have to return them at some point. But enjoy them for today and then return them tomorrow. Okay? Okay. All right. So that I'm just guessing so that there won't be any kind of misunderstanding. All right? Okay. All right. So I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Once again, this is Miss Elaine's Read Along. I am Miss Elaine, and Engineer Evan has helped us on today. Thank you so much, Engineer Evan, for being so faithful and being here every single week and helping our broadcast run so smoothly. Wow, Engineer Evan is getting old, you all. We only have about 2 more years with him, and then he'll be off to, I don't know, build rocket ships, fly planes, do all that good stuff. I can't be like the Dullards and keep him in the house forever. I have to let him go on and be who he is destined to be. So we are grateful for the time that we have with him. All right, you guys. Imani says, I see you have on a nice black shirt that was gifted. Imani, this shirt is for production. It was purchased specifically for this show so that I could be dull today. Okay? Melissa and crew, mwah, 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 mwah. Thank you so much for joining us. Report card pickup is coming soon. So I hope that our grades are dynamite. If they are not, it is important that you work on doing your best. Just do your best. That is all that we ask. We are so proud of you all already. And well, Amari, Evan, this is your year. Make it the best that you can make it. All right, parents, you all hang in there as well. And guys, just keep reading. I'll see you all next week. Bye now.